when the narcissist knows they can't mess with you anymore. Yes, that is what we are going to be talking about in this video today. And it is quite a big video. It's a very important topic. And it is something that I'm sure many of you would like to know. I've just been traveling around today. Driving around Taiwan. Not here for much longer, as I mentioned in a previous video. Just chilling in here. And we are going to get very deep into this topic. Because I know the narcissist was messing with you for a while. They were playing around with you. They were doing all of these things to you. All of these things that are immoral and wicked. Things that any normal person would not approve of or accept. They were doing despicable, disgusting, low-down things to you. And I know that. And that is why I decided to create this video. To validate your experience. And to let you know what happens when they realize that they can't mess with you anymore. They can't do all of these things to you. They can't play around with you. They can't do that anymore. So now, what happens when they realize this? It's actually very different to what might normally happen in other situations. Because for them to get to this point, you have caught on. You've realized, you've figured it out, what they've been doing to you. You've realized and accepted that, yes, it is wrong. It is despicable. It is not right. It is immoral. It is low down. It's just bad. And you've realized that now. But you didn't realize that before, though, did you? You weren't aware of that back then. And you weren't aware of it because maybe you were a little bit naive, a little bit foolish. And that's understandable. I mean, normal people, we don't tend to walk around just constantly scanning the environment for predators. Normal people, we don't normally do things like that, do we? No, we don't. So of course, You were caught off guard. You didn't realize what was happening, what this person was doing to you. You were unaware of it at the time. But if you had known, I am sure that you would have been running in the opposite direction. You would have done anything in your power to get away from them. But you didn't do that. And you didn't do that because you didn't know. As I said, you were naive, maybe a bit foolish. Maybe you overlooked some red flags. Of course, we all do sometimes. Or we give people too many chances. Of course, yes, I understand that. That's perfectly understandable. And while all this was going on, and you were unaware, you didn't realize exactly what you were dealing with, the narcissist was having a field day with you. They really went to town on you. They were doing all of these things to you, manipulating and exploiting you, lying to you, future faking. And yeah, there were times when things didn't seem completely right. You know, some things that were strange, peculiar, unusual. And they noticed when you started to catch on. And then they gaslighted you. If you've just come in, please give this video a thumbs up down below. I'm seeing 77 live viewers and only 18 thumbs ups. It's very important. It does help the YouTube algorithm to get this very important message out there to help other survivors of narcissistic abuse. But back into the message. In the beginning, yes, you were unaware. Certain things happened to you. Certain things didn't seem right. And then maybe you confronted them on it. You questioned them. And then they gaslighted you. They got you to doubt your own memory, perception, and sanity. They made you feel like your feelings, your opinions, your beliefs are wrong. How you're seeing things, it's incorrect. You're not seeing things right. You have poor judgment. That's why you need them there. So they can tell you what is right. Because of course, as they said to you, they were just trying to help you. They're just trying to lead you into the right direction. But you're always confused. You never know what you're doing. You're crazy. So you need their help. That's how they made you feel, isn't it? Every time that you started to catch on, every time that you started to question them, And you wanted to know what is really going on with this person. What are they really doing? Because things are not adding up. They're saying this, but then it looks like they're going and they're doing something else. But then you go to them and then they tell you, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing something else. I'm doing this for you. But it never adds up with their story, with the things that they are saying to you. It never makes any sense. It's like a very complicated puzzle. And there's pieces missing. So you can't complete it. You can't get it to make any sense. And they like it that way. Because then it prevents you from being onto them, from realizing what is actually going on. And that's exactly how they like it. It's exactly how they want it. They want you to be dazed and confused, to where you're thinking, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just need to give them another chance. Maybe if I just wait around a few more days, a few more weeks, one day they'll understand, one day they'll change, things will get better. And that is exactly what they want you to do. They want you to just wait around, expecting things to get better, expecting things to change. But things are never going to change. And you should know that, because they never even accepted what they were doing wrong. And what were they doing wrong? Well, they were lying to you. They were manipulating you. Maybe they were cheating on you, stealing from you. They were gaslighting you, future faking. They were doing all of these things to you. And they were loving every second of it. It brought them pleasure to see you going through it. To where they had your head spinning around in circles. You're just looking around, you don't know what's going on. By the end of it, you're so confused, you don't even know what day it is, what month it is. It's like by the end of it, you can't even remember your own name. And that is exactly how they want it. That is exactly how they expect things to be. But that is not how things are supposed to be, is it? When you are in a relationship with someone, there should be a mutual understanding. Yes, they should know what's going on with you, but then you should know what's going on with them. You should know what's going on in their minds, what they're thinking about, they're going to be trying to do to you or with you. how they are expecting things to pan out. What are their motives, their reasons for doing certain things? You should have this type of information when you are with someone. You should know what is going on. But you didn't know any of that when you were with them. As I said, you were unaware, maybe a little bit naive, foolish. You didn't fully understand their motives, their behaviors, their intentions. But if you didn't know before, I'm sure you know now. You know that they were messing with you. They were playing with you, with your mind, playing these head games. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie. It's quite an old one. Very powerful, impactful, influential. It's called Gaslight. It's about this woman and her husband, and he's playing with the lights in the house. He's flicking them around. And the woman, she goes to her husband, asks him about the lights. Have you been playing around with these lights? He says no. And he says no because he's trying to mess with her mind. And that is what gaslighting is. Trying to get a person to doubt their own memory, perception, and sanity. And that's just a simple little thing. Playing around with the lights. I mean, he was doing other things as well. But that alone, I mean, looking at it from the outside and observer's point of view, that might not seem like such a big deal. It might even sound kind of funny. Just some guy playing with the lights. It might seem like a joke, a prank. But just that little thing is enough to make someone feel like they're losing their mind. Because just imagine that, just imagine yourself in that position. You're in a relationship with someone, you should be able to trust them. They're playing around with the lights. And you're going to them and they're telling you they don't know what you're talking about. Just imagine how sick someone must be in the mind to do that. No normal person is going to do something like that. I know I would never do that to anyone. Because I know that it's wrong. It's not right to mess with a person's mind. That is called gaslighting. And that's what the narcissist was doing to you the entire time. The entire time they were messing with your mind. Making you believe that it's this when really it's that. All the while they know exactly what is going on. They know exactly what they're doing to you. And they understand the effects that it's having on you as well. They know that it's hurting you, it's causing you distress. But guess what? They don't care. And they don't care because they lack effective empathy, which means that they have an inability to put themselves in another person's shoes. So you may be feeling a lot of pain, distress, but they're not feeling your pain. And in fact, what they're feeling is gratification. It's bringing them pleasure and enjoyment to see you dazed and confused, not knowing what is going on, not fully understanding their motives, their intentions, what they're really about. And when they can keep you on edge like that, they're loving it. They're messing with you, they're having their way with you. And it's just mind-blowing. It's really crazy. Because no normal person is going to be thinking like that in a relationship. And it was very difficult for me to understand as well. Earlier on in my research, I just couldn't understand it. Why would you want to keep someone unaware of your motives, your intentions? I mean, for me, that was always the best part of the relationship. When the person that I was with knew exactly how I'm thinking, how I'm perceiving them, and what I'm planning to do with them. That was always the most gratifying part of the relationship for me. But of course, narcissists, they don't think that way. The most pleasurable part for them is when you don't know what's going on, because they already know that there's nothing desirable about what they're doing. They know that once you're fully aware, it's just going to push you away. It's going to make you want nothing to do with them. Japanese alkaline iron water. Very good to balance the body's pH. If you just tuned in, please do give this video a thumbs up down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm, gets this message out there. Very important. Thank you. But yeah, at some point you realize you've seen enough. Doesn't matter what they're saying to you, what they're telling you. They're saying they didn't mean to do this, or they're saying they meant something else. Or this just happened, it was just a coincidence. I wasn't aware of it. You know, the things they normally like to say to avoid accountability for their actions. At some point, it's like, it doesn't matter what they say anymore. All you're seeing now is what they're showing you. They can't get in your head anymore and make you see things that aren't even there. And at that point, they know they can't mess with you anymore. They know that you're on to them. You figured out their game. You know what they're really about. And you're not going to tolerate that anymore. You understand their motives, their intentions. You understand that, yes, they are deliberately trying to harm you, trying to keep you back, trying to sabotage your progress and success. Because they're very envious and jealous. They can't stand it. And once you come to this conclusion and you realize what they've been doing to you all the while you were loyal and devoted to them, you were at their every beck and call. Whatever they wanted from you, you were there. You were the first one in line to help them. But despite all of that, when you figure it out and they realize that they can't mess with you anymore, when they realize that, they know that they have no other choice but to ghost you, to cut you off and get rid of you. Because they know that your presence is no longer going to serve them anymore. Once you figure them out, once you know what they're about, and yet they will portray it as though they got tired of you. You did all of these things wrong. That is what every narcissist does at the end of a relationship. Every time they always blame the victim. Doesn't matter what you did for them, how much you did for them. None of that matters. You could have given them everything you had. You could have given the world to them. But at the end of it, they will find one thing you did wrong. They will exaggerate it. They can turn molehills into mountains. Or they'll just make something up, spread rumors, gossip, start smear campaigns. But why are they doing that? Because there is a pattern of behavior that we do notice from victims of abuse. You know, when someone is a real victim and they've been abused, they're not looking to attack another person's reputation. They're not looking to spread rumors or gossip. They're not looking to go around and tell everyone and start these crazy smear campaigns, are they? No, they're not looking to do that at all. and in fact a real victim of abuse. They just want to be left alone. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. By the end of it, you just wanted to be left alone. But narcissists, they can't just leave you alone. They have to be on you. They have to do something to you to bring you down. And here is the crazy part about it. And this will shock a lot of you, what I am about to say right now. But this is the truth. The reason why they go out and they do all of these crazy things, it is not because of anything that you have meant to have done to them. It's not because of anything like that at all. The reason why, it's because they know what they've done to you. Yes, they know that all of that time they were lying to you, manipulating you, maybe cheating on you, stealing from you, gaslighting, future faking, triangulating, talking about you behind your back. Yes, they know what they have done. They know what they are. Although they do enter a stage of denial, because they want to avoid the consequences of their actions and to protect their false image. But not only that, but because they also have a lot of shame. They are shame-based people who will do anything they can to avoid reflecting on their shame. And yet many of you look at it and you really believe that maybe you did something wrong. Just look back. Remember everything you did for them. Remember all of the times you went out of your way for them. I mean, you did more than most people ever would. There are not many people in this world who would do what you did for the narcissist. There are not many people who would do that. But you did it for them. Many of you, you did more for them than their families ever did for them. You did more for them than they ever did for themselves, than they ever did for you. So why, at the end of it, do they turn around and blame you? When, as I said, a true victim, they just want to be left alone. I mean, if you've been abused for months or years, you haven't even got the energy to think about all of these ways to punish or get revenge, gossip about another person, start a smear campaign against them. You haven't got any time or energy to do that. If you've been abused for months or even years, you're going to want to spend that, whatever little time or energy you have left, on yourself to heal and move on. I mean, once you've been around an abuser for long enough, it just makes you feel sick to your stomach. If you should ever have to reinitiate contact with them, It makes you feel sick inside. It disgusts you. So many of us, the last thing we want is to continue any form of contact with them. We're going to avoid doing that at all costs. We're just going to want to get away from them. But narcissists, it's like when they know they can't mess with you anymore, many of them will still hold on to you for dear life. They just won't let you go. Of course, there is the player type of narcissist as well. Those types, they will typically just ghost you and move on. But I understand as well, yes, that could be painful too. Maybe you thought you had a relationship with them. They were just using you for sex, maybe a place to stay, money, whatever it was. Maybe they weren't really abusive so much. They weren't really putting you down, gaslighting you. But these other types of narcissists, when you were the grade A source of supply, when they realize that they can't mess with you anymore, but all they really realize is they can't mess with you anymore directly. But they will mess with you through other people, organizations, whatever it may be, a divorce, through the children, child support, alimony, through smear campaigns. They will use all of these other means. And yes, they are kind of in denial when they are doing that. The denial they use as a defense mechanism for their false character. But deep down, they do know the truth. Yes, they are fully aware of that. They know exactly what they are and what they're doing, what they've been doing to you, and what they're continuing to do as well. They know exactly who they are, and they understand the effects that they're having on you. But they don't care. All they care about is what they're getting out of it. And although, yes, they may have gained a lot from you in the past while they were with you, when they realize they can't mess with you anymore, they still just want more. Because they're very greedy and selfish. It's never enough. They're never satisfied. No matter what they do to you, they just always need more. They always need more from you. And you may look at it like, okay, so I've given you my entire life. I sacrificed everything I had for you. My love, my energy, everything that made me who I am. My hopes and ambitions, my goals and dreams. everything that I wished I could be, that we could be together at some point in the future, as you led me to believe. And then you think, so I've given up all of this, I sacrifice it all, and I don't get anything in return for that. Or do I, at the very least, get to be left in peace? Can I at least just lay in the rubble, in the midst of the aftermath of the destruction that you created in my life? Can I at least do that? And many of you may be aware that no, you can't just do that. So you may just lay there in the rubble. You may just play dead. But a criminal always returns to the scene of the crime. And when they come back, they may see what looks to be your corpse laying on the ground. And they will poke at you with a stick to see if there's any life left in you. And if there is, they're going to take what they can. And then they're going to be off again. Which is why at times, yes, they will hoover you. Many of you, you hold some form of limits, boundaries, or restrictions for these narcissists. But these exist only in your mind. It's like you're telling yourself, yes, they may have done this, but they won't do that. They would never do that. And then some time goes by, and that is exactly the very thing that they do. And then it catches you off guard. It leaves you in a state of shock. Because you've held these imaginary limits in your mind. And I know exactly what that is like. With narcissists before, they did so many things to me. And I thought, okay, yes, they've done all of these things, but they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't stoop that low. Even they're not that crazy. And then before you know it, that's exactly what they do. They go and do the very thing that you thought they would never do. And then that becomes your new normal. It wasn't normal before, but now it's normal to you now. And it's something you just tolerate and accept. Sometimes you've just got to look back at the amount of time that you have spent with them. Remember what was normal at the beginning of the relationship, and then how it gradually changed throughout the devaluation, going on to the discard. Notice how what was normal back then gradually over time they begin to normalize more toxic, harmful and abusive behaviors until it gets to a point where you're just going through it. You're on autopilot. And they're doing the most disgusting things to you. And by the end of it, you're just sitting there taking it. And you know what they're doing? This is what they're doing. They're reading into you. They're scanning to see what is the most hurtful thing I can say to this person. What is the most hurtful thing that I can do? What's really going to break them more than anything else in this world? And yet we wonder, how could they stoop so low? Because that is what is going on in their mind. Yes, they're literally thinking, what is the most hurtful thing I can say to this person? What is the most hurtful thing that I can do that's really going to get under their skin? That's really going to irritate them. It's really going to wind them up. It's really going to break them, destroy them, crush their heart and soul until they're on the floor, begging, screaming and crying for mercy. And that is the nature of a narcissist. Yes, that is exactly what they do. Whatever they think will hurt you the most, they will go out and do that. Because they really don't care. They have no empathy. They can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It's not going to affect them. They're not going to care. They're not going to feel what you feel. They're going to know what you're feeling. Because although they may lack effective empathy, they do have high amounts of cognitive empathy, which means that they can read into your emotions. So they know exactly what you're feeling. The only difference is that unlike us, I mean, if you just imagine for a moment, maybe you see someone in an accident, I don't know, maybe someone gets hit by a car, you see someone get run down on the road, not only are you going to know what that person is feeling, but if you do have effective empathy, you're going to feel it as though it's happening to you. You're going to have a response to it. you're going to flinch. You might even cover your eyes or your ears or look the other way because you just can't bear to see another person in pain. Especially when there's nothing that you can do about it. But a narcissist, you know what they're going to do? They see someone about to get run down by a car. They're going to be staring with their eyes wide open. And they're going to be loving every second of it. And you might even see that narcissistic smirk. Because they're enjoying it. They're getting off on it. I mean, some of us, we may be looking, but we're just trying to figure out how can we help this person. But that's not how the narcissist is thinking. They're enjoying it. Because their brain processes very differently to ours. For them, they're not feeling our pain. They can read into our emotions very well because they are predators. So they know exactly what we're feeling, far more than what a normal person can read into. But they're not feeling our pain. And in fact, when they read into it, and they know that you're upset, you're hurt, whatever negative emotion it may be, they're finding pleasure in that. It's making them feel better about themselves. It's elevating them at your expense. As crazy as that sounds, that's exactly what is going on in their heads. So of course, even after everything they've done to you, even when you finally catch on, you figure them out, they know that they can't mess with you anymore, at least not directly. They'll just find another way around it. They'll get other people involved. They'll target you. Because they're not feeling your pain. They're not empaths, they're predators. And they are getting off on it. They're enjoying it. The effects of what they're doing to you. They're seeing it, they're fully aware of it. They understand it. They don't care. Because they're feeding from that. They're getting something positive out of it. Many of you don't seem to understand this. But when you understand it, everything starts to make sense. Now you know why they do what they do. Because for me, I mean, let's just look at this again. From a relatively normal person's perspective, as an empath, I mean, of course, in the past, people have done things to me, and I had an opportunity to get revenge, to hurt them in return to what they did to me. And yes, of course, I'm human. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've hurt people. But you know, it only took maybe a few minutes after hurting them to where I felt so much guilt. I felt so bad for my actions, to where I just wanted to run to them and put my arms around them and hold them so tight because I felt so bad. And this is something that I've experienced many times throughout my life, where I've hurt someone in return to what they did to me. And I couldn't let it go on. Of course, there were times I was with someone, they said some hurtful things to me. We went to sleep together. Maybe at first I kind of gave them the silent treatment. I wanted to punish them. But I couldn't let it go on until the morning. I had to make it right, or else I couldn't sleep. So that's a normal person's perspective. For a narcissist, they can let it go on until the end of time. Makes no difference to them, because they're not feeling your pain. They're not feeling your struggle. For me, I just can't let anyone go through that. I just can't sleep. If I know that someone is in pain, I have to go and try my best to relieve their suffering. But as we know, narcissists aren't going to do that. And in fact, they will be watching you, stalking you on social media, and they will be rubbing their hands with a little narcissistic smirk on their face, just hoping, anticipating they're going to see something. Maybe some post that you put up about narcissistic abuse. Maybe a picture with a sad face. Maybe you're talking about something you're going through. Maybe you've got bills to pay. You're worried about how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to feed your kids. You know, these daily struggles that we go through in life. Well, the narcissist, when they log on and they see that, they're going to be loving it. They're going to be getting pleasure out of that. This is just the way that they are. And for a long time, it was very difficult for me to understand it. I thought there's just no way. I thought everyone is just like me. I thought we all have the same brain. We all feel bad for other people. But that's not how they feel for you. I know they say it sometimes with their words, but just look at their actions. How many times until you start to realize who they are? And this is why I have to get on here every day and do this. I have to put this message out there because this is what people are going through all around the world. I mean, I know it's not just me. And this is what I've always been about. This is why I started this channel to begin with. To be this person that I never had in my life. No one was ever there for me. No one was there when I needed them. I can tell you that what brings me more pleasure than anything else in life is to know that I am there for you. And that's how it should be. That's what people are supposed to be like. We're meant to be there for each other. And honestly, that is the most beautiful thing to me in the world. It really is. To see when people are there for each other. Unfortunately, and I know a lot of you may not like to hear this, but I'm going to say it because you do deserve to know the truth. And the truth is that the narcissist is never going to be there for you like that. I do have to be quite quiet though, because there are other people here and they may be trying to get some sleep. But yes, the narcissist, they're never going to be that for you. They're never going to come in and be that person that you've been waiting for. Only because that was who they led you to believe that they were. But they're never going to be that for you. The entire time, they lied to you. They were manipulating you. They never really cared about you. They only cared about themselves. You were manipulated, you were used, you were lied to. You were gaslit. And at some point you have to cut your losses and realize that yes, that's all that there is to it. You were exploited. There is nothing in it for you. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. There is no silver lining to the cloud. Not from them, anyway. Unless you go and you create that for yourself. Because that's what you have to do. I mean, I had to do that in my own life. I waited around for such a long time, thinking that one day all of these dreams that were fed to me, one day maybe it's going to be a reality. If I just wait around another year, another few years, something will happen eventually. You can keep doing that until your life passes you by, but it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change them. They're missing that effective empathy. So they're never going to be that for you. They're never going to feel your pain. And at some point you do just have to accept that yes, you were tricked. You were duped. You were deceived. They led you to believe that they were this when they were not. They were not that at all. They were never what they led you to believe. If they were, then you would have seen something by now, I'm sure. So yes, at some point we do just have to accept it. We have to accept that yes, we were victims of a narcissistic abuse. But we don't have to be that for life. And that's why I chose to give this channel the name that I gave it, Narc Survivor. I didn't call it Narc Victim. Because unlike these narcissists, I don't want to label myself as a victim. Even though, quite honestly, if I really look at it, I've probably been victimized 100 times more than 99% of people in this world. And even that would be an understatement. But that's real strength. To go through all of that and still come out of it and not call myself a victim. Instead, I call myself a survivor. Because that's what I am. I survived. Survived it all of the abuse, all of the lies, all of the mistreatment, the misfortune. And you know, I am proud to say that I survived all of that. I'm not going to let it weigh me down. I'm not going to carry their shame. Instead, I look back and I see everything that I have overcome. And in the end, it only made me stronger. It made me more powerful. And again, that's how I'm able to get on here every day and empower you. So they realize they can't mess with you anymore. And then they try to mess with you through other people. Their enablers, their flying monkeys, whoever it is that they're dealing with, maybe even their new supply. They may triangulate you. Or if you're dealing with a player type of narcissist, they're just going to ghost you. You might never hear from them again. And if that is the type of narcissist you were dealing with, count yourself lucky. But at the same time, I empathize with that as well. You may have wanted a relationship, a marriage, children. You didn't get that. Of course, that's not right. It's not fair. I understand that. You wanted commitment. You didn't get it. Either way, it's not right what they do. It's not right at all. We deserve better. And we've got to give that to ourselves. We've got to practice self-love, self-care, and remind ourselves just how great we are. That's why they chose us. They could have chosen anyone, but they chose us. Why? Because they believed that we were greater than other people. So it gives them more of a high when they finally break us down. They love turning a powerful, confident person into an emotional wreck. And the more higher up you are, the further away you have to fall until you finally hit the ground. So that should just remind you just how great you are and why they picked you. But it's getting late here. I'm getting sleepy. I'm sure you can tell my eyes are starting to close. Stayed on here quite long. But I had to get this very important message out there. And those of you who haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, please do. Helps the YouTube algorithm, gets this message out there. Other people need to hear this. Other people need to be aware. They need to know what is going on, what the narcissist was doing to them, and what they do. And they realize that they can no longer mess with you. But yeah, I think it's time for me to have a shower now. Get ready to sleep. It's been a long day. I think this is actually the latest I've done a live video. I had a lot to say. So but yes, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate you all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I am reading your comments every day. And hit that subscribe button down below as well. And click the bell icon, very important. Click that bell icon as well. Only then will you receive notifications for my future videos. If you don't hit the subscribe button and click that bell icon, you might not receive the notifications. So please remember to do that. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, preferably when I am a bit more awake, you can do that on my website. It's narcsurvivor.co.uk. And if you'd like to see some more of me, you can go to my Instagram and follow me on there. It's Narc Survivor YouTube and Instagram. I've got plenty of pictures and videos of my recent travels on there. So do check it out. As always, I would just like to thank you all for joining me. Hit that thumbs up button below if you enjoyed the video, and to show your support. Again, thank you all, and I will talk to you in another video very soon.